iPhone has caused irreversible damage to the human race. Steve Jobs built one of the most valuable companies in history. He transformed personal computers, music phones, animations, and even retail. But despite his brilliance in business, one personal decision continues to spark debate among doctors, entrepreneurs, and historians. He was diagnosed with a rare form of pancreatic cancer that was often treatable with surgery. However, instead of immediate medical treatment, Jobs spent about 9 months pursuing alternative therapies, including special diets, herbal remedies, acupuncture, and other natural approaches. Many physicians have since argued that this delay may have reduced his chances of long term survival. This is the story of Steve Jobs, the businessman who changed the world, and the decision that became one of the most discussed medical choices in Silicon Valley. Steve Jobs wasn't born into wealth. He was adopted as an infant. He grew up in California, where he developed an early fascination with electronics. He attended college but dropped out after one semester, and instead of pursuing a traditional education, he audited classes that interested him most, famously calligraphy. At the time, it seemed like a pointless decision. Years later, those typographic lessons would inspire the beautiful fonts that helped make the Macintosh stand out from every other computer. Sometimes the biggest business advantage come from unexpected places. In 1976, Jobs and Steve Wozniak started Apple from a garage. Their first computer were sold to hobbyists. Then came the Apple II. It became one of the first mass market personal computers and generated millions in revenue. Within just a few years, Apple had become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Jobs wasn't the best engineer, he wasn't the best programmer. His genius was seeing products the public didn't yet know they wanted. In one of the greatest ironies in business, Steve Jobs was forced out of Apple in 1985. He was only 30 years old. Many entrepreneurs would have been disappointed. Jobs started over. He founded Next, a company focused on advanced workstation. While Next never became a commercial success, its software later became the foundation for Mac OS. At the same time, Jobs purchased a small graphics company from George Lucas. He named it Pixar. That investment would eventually produce Toy Story and completely revolutionize animated filmmaking. Pixar was later acquired by Disney in a multi-billion-dollar deal, making Jobs Disney's largest individual shareholder. Sometimes failure becomes the foundation of even greater success. With that said, I should become the most successful YouTuber of all time. Anyway, in 1997, Apple was struggling. The company was losing money, its product lineup was confusing, some analysts believed bankruptcy was possible. Apple acquired Next, bringing Steve Jobs back. What followed became one of the greatest corporate turnover ever. First came the colorful iMac, then the iPod, then iTunes, then iPhones, then the Apple Store. Everyone loves the Apple Store. Each product didn't just improve an existing market, it redefined it. Apple transformed from a struggling computer company into one of the world's most valuable businesses. Steve Jobs demanded perfection. Employees described him as inspiring, intimidating, demanding, and sometimes extraordinarily difficult, also known as an asshole. He obsessed over tiny details: packaging, fonts, the feel of a button, the sound a laptop made when it was closed. He believed customers often couldn't describe what they wanted until they saw it. That philosophy became Apple's competitive advantage. In 2003, Jobs received devastating news. Doctors discovered a rare pancreatic neuroendocrine tumor. Unlike more common forms of pancreatic cancer, this type is often slower growing and can sometimes be treated successfully with surgery, especially when detected early. Doctors recommended surgical removal. However, Jobs declined immediate surgery. Instead, he pursued alternative approaches for approximately 9 months. Just goes to show you, even though you have the most money and the best people around you, sometimes your own ego can get in the way of serious medical treatment. Reports from his biographer Walter Isaacson and others described him experimenting with strict dietary changes, herbal remedies, nutritional therapies, and other non conventional treatments. Jobs believed his body could heal naturally. Eventually, scans showed the tumor had continued to grow. In 2004, he underwent a surgery to remove it. This remains one of the most discussed aspects of Steve Jobs' life. Several physicians have publicly commented on the case and have suggested that delaying surgery may have allowed the cancer to progress farther than it otherwise might have. Because every patient case is different, no one can say with certainty that would have happened had he undergone surgery immediately. Jobs himself later expressed regret about postponing conventional treatment. In his authorized biography, he acknowledged wishing he had accepted surgery sooner. Even with surgery, his cancer later spread to his liver. He eventually underwent a liver transplant in 2009. Steve Jobs died in 2011 at the age of 56. Steve Jobs taught entrepreneurs countless lessons: focus, simplicity, obsession over quality, building products people love, but his medical journey offers a different lesson. Being brilliant in one field doesn't make someone an expert in every field. Many successful people trust their instincts. In business, that instinct can create billion-dollar companies. In medicine, however, evidence-based treatment often offers the best chance of success. Jobs' story reminds us that confidence and intelligence are not substitute for medical evidence. In conclusion, Steve Jobs left behind one of the greatest business legacies in history. The Macintosh changed computing, the iPod changed music, the iPhone degraded human intelligence, changed communication, and Apple became one of the most valuable companies ever created. But alongside that extraordinary legacy is a deep human story. A man could see the future of technology with remarkable clarity, made a personal medical decision that continues to be examined today. His life remains a powerful reminder that innovation can change the world, but even the greatest visionaries are still human. If you enjoyed this story and deep dive into business schooners, subscribe for more stories like this.